Hi Maricelle, really enjoyed working with you this weekend, and I will get a few more videos out when I get back from my trip. But let's just talk a little bit about the spin turn and the points we made there for your working as a lady. Some of these things we really need the man to help us with, but if you understand your job, you can help him, you can be more responsive, and you can encourage him also when he needs to send you out of the way or accelerate you around him. The first thing would be to understand on the natural turn that it would be your job to get out of the way. You're on the inside of the turn. Now ideally my partner will indicate with his center and his frame for me to move in a curved manner off of his track, which would encourage my CBM, my contra-body movement here, and my hips turning so that I can open the door for my partner. So from the prep step, now we'll talk about the head weight in a moment here. We're going to be turning to the right, moving out of his way, and then turning the hips. We didn't really talk about the pointing alignment here, but we'll go in more detail the next time that we work on that. As far as your head weight, we'll address that here because most of this is a right turn, but we have the prep step where you're having a bit of a left turn in order to go right. So it's very easy for us to put our head weight over our standing foot and towards the elbow, which is where we usually say that's the picture that we want. But if I'm trying to turn left and I'm doing this, I'm going to inhibit the movement of the couple. So as we do the first movement to the left, we'll feel that the head weight is dancing around this outside perimeter of the curve, and the weight of the head is being taken back this way. What I don't want to do is put my head weight in front of my partner across his center line, but I do want the head to assist. I want the head to assist in that left turn, and then there's a dramatic change in my head from there to there. You'll find on all these right turns, as you close your feet or as you brush your feet on the spin turn, that you're going to work the muscles underneath the shoulder blade against the mastoid muscle in the neck here, so that we're getting a nice curve and we're not breaking the neck. So don't lift your chin. Always keep the chin in a conversational position, but put the curve in your body and rotate the head, and then increase the stretch on the side of the neck, and always use your back as well. Now I'll talk for a moment about promenade, even though we don't have that in the spin turn, because since we talked about that use of the mastoid muscle, the side of the neck, with that side of your back, if you're going in promenade, it would be opposite. I would contract the muscles on the right side of my back. Now that may not seem like we're keeping the back up, but there's a big difference between dropping your back and contracting the muscles in a way that your back is elevated up towards your partner. And now I'm working the left side of my neck, the mastoid muscle, against the muscles in the shoulder blade. The one place we did talk about that was in the tango, in the promenade, where your back was dropping away. So I'll just bring that up here. Then as you complete your rise here, be careful that you don't drop back or drop your back or go down into a hole when you start to dance the pivoting action. It's important that you have an upward feeling through your hips, that you're swinging across the floor and swinging up and not going down. Now that brings a little bit to the topic of the rise and fall, the commence to rise at the end of one. So we're not lowering into the one. And I'll talk about that later. I'll do a specific video on that. But here I think if you think of dancing up to the man and swinging your hips on a ramp, I think that will take care of it there so that your weight moves effectively through. Now as you do that, you'll feel again the left side of your back dancing strongly through the diagonal towards the man. Now just go for a moment to the other end of the spin turn. We talked about the brushing action and the the expression of the top there. So again, I'm trying to do that through my entire upper back and not my neck. But I'm also using the hips there, so that my hips are chasing the man, and that mastoid muscle is working against that side of your back. Now, I didn't mention for you to try to keep the right hip down, but that's important there, and again, we'll touch on that more. The ladies, when they try to go out, they'll often have their hip lifted, and if you do that on the spin turn, you'll knock everything out of balance. So I will keep my supporting hip underneath me and try to hold this hip down as I'm extending out into the arm, not letting the hips fall to the side. Now that same action at the end where we're brushing and finding our place with the leg, we have to do that every time the man invites us to go forward. So as I'm going forward into the pivot, on the lowering action, my leg is beginning to shape, and I'm finding the inside of his leg. And at this point, I'm still on the inside edge of the toe. And then there's a soft heel lead. So this will prepare you and allow your center to start moving and the connection to form, rather than you waiting and then suddenly your foot and your body and everything moves at one time. So I think those are the main points that we talked about on the spin turn. I've added to that to discipline that hip. I feel that stretch. Here both sides of my back are active, but this side is more active as we're coming out. And the other thing was to make sure you're always describing with your center and your hands and your frame what your partner is doing. A lot of the man's leading is indicating to the lady with his center, with his hands, with his arms, where he would like her to go. You need to do the same thing to be an active partner that's enjoyable to dance with. If he's going over here into the right turn, you put your hands in your center there as well. As you're dancing the spin turn, you allow your frame to be sympathetic to the curve that he's giving you. Okay, so let's just leave it at that for today. I'm going on the road for a few days, but when I get back, I'll cover some of the other topics.